On the morning of June 12, 1962, the guards at Alcatraz carried out their routine head count within the cold and windy walls of the prison. At first glance, everything appeared ordinary, but upon closer inspection, something strange caught their eyes. In the beds of 3 inmates lay remarkably realistic fake heads. In truth, those men had already vanished into history, pulling off one of the most mysterious escapes ever. Despite the massive manhunt led by the FBI and the U.S. Army, they were never seen again. Many historians argue that the impact of this escape went far beyond a sensational story. It accelerated the decision to shut down Alcatraz altogether. Indeed, only a year later, in 1963, the prison was permanently closed. The island that made escape impossible. Located in San Francisco Bay, Alcatraz had symbolized the harshest face of the American justice system since its opening in 1934. Surrounded by freezing waters, powerful currents, and shark-infested seas, the island was regarded as inescapable. Strict rules, constant head counts, strategically placed watchtowers, and layers of barbed wire made even the thought of escape unthinkable. Housing infamous criminals like Al Capone and George Machine Gun Kelly only reinforced its notorious reputation. During its 29 years of operation, 36 inmates attempted 14 escapes. Most were captured, some drowned in the unforgiving waters. But only one group vanished without a trace: the clever bank robber Frank Morris, along with brothers John and Clarence Anglin. The escape plan took shape in 1961, when Morris and the Anglin brothers were placed in adjoining cells. What seemed nearly impossible soon became their mission. Over 6 months, they painstakingly widened the small ventilation ducts beneath their sinks. With nothing more than spoons, saw blades, and sheer patience, they chipped away at the walls. To hide the debris, they used cardboard covers, while the noise was masked by Morris playing his accordion. But breaking free from a cell was not enough. They also needed a vessel to cross the deadly waters. Ingeniously, they stitched together over 50 raincoats, sealing the seams with heat from prison steam pipes, creating a makeshift raft. They carved paddles out of scrap wood and reinforced them with bolts from the workshop. The most fascinating detail, however, was the decoy heads they crafted to fool the guards. Made of soap, toothpaste, concrete dust, and toilet paper, the heads were carefully painted and topped with real hair collected from the prison barbershop. At night, the fakes were placed on their pillows, convincing the guards that the men were asleep until morning.
On the night of June 11, 1962, Morris and the Anglin brothers quietly slipped through the widened air ducts. They crawled into an unguarded utility corridor, climbed to the roof, and pried open the rivets of a ventilation fan. From there, they descended nearly 50 feet through a kitchen vent, crossed 2 barbed wire fences, and reached a dark spot on the shoreline. At around 10 p.m., they inflated their homemade raft and pushed off into the icy waters of the bay. By dawn, only the fake heads remained in their beds. The aftermath. The search began almost immediately. Within days, the Coast Guard found a floating paddle and a wallet believed to belong to one of the Anglin brothers washed ashore. A Norwegian freighter crew even claimed to have seen a body near the Golden Gate Bridge, but it was never recovered or identified. After 17 years of investigation, in 1979, the FBI closed the case, declaring the men most likely drowned. The legend lives on. The escape soon inspired books, documentaries, and even a major film, Escape from Alcatraz, starring Clint Eastwood, which cemented the story worldwide. Yet the legend also lived on within the fugitives' own families. The Anglin family claimed they had received mysterious postcards over the years, and some even insisted the brothers had disguised themselves to secretly attend their mother's funeral. In the 1970s, a photograph allegedly showing the Anglin brothers in Brazil surfaced, suggesting they might have survived. Then, in 2013, a letter arrived at the San Francisco Police Department, supposedly written by John Anglin. In it, he claimed that Morris had died in 2008 and Clarence in 2011, while he himself was still alive but gravely ill. The letter even expressed a willingness to surrender in exchange for medical care. Yet despite handwriting analysis, fingerprint testing, and DNA checks, no conclusive evidence emerged. The file was once again closed, and the mystery endured. The legacy of the escape. To this day, the fate of the three men remains unknown. If alive, they would now be in their 90s. What is certain is that the 1962 escape shattered Alcatraz's reputation as an inescapable prison. Just 1 year later, it was shut down, eventually reopening as a museum visited by millions. The story that echoes from Alcatraz's stone walls is one of human creativity and the extraordinary risks taken in pursuit of freedom. Perhaps Morris and the Anglin brothers rest at the bottom of the bay, or perhaps they lived out their lives under false identities on distant shores. But one thing is undeniable. On the night of June 11, 1962, three men etched their names into history and left behind one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the modern era.